there are some really rich people in America, and America's deep in debt, so why not just raise taxes on those rich people? Some famous rich people say they sure don't need a tax cut.
Eva Longoria, who works on movie sets, does not.
I don't spend so much that I can't afford to pay a little bit more in taxes.
I really don't mind paying more taxes.
So they say. So what's the harm in taxing them and other rich people more? Well, let's ask a tax dodger, Art Laffer. Oh. You moved to Tennessee just to avoid paying California's income taxes?
That's correct. I mean, it's really phenomenal. There's no state income tax. There's no state capital gains tax. There's no state estate tax. It's really phenomenal in Tennessee, and it's a great state.
You're an affluent guy. It's just the state taxes. How much difference can it make? How much money do you rich people need?
Oh, I need a lot. It's there. I mean, I don't mind paying more in taxes, John. I don't mind it at all, to be honest with you. I just minded paying more as a percentage of my income and affecting my decisions. I would like to make a lot more and be willing to pay a lot more in taxes with a low-rate, broad-based flat tax, but that's not what these guys do. These guys go right at a small base with a very high rate that does the most damage and doesn't get the money. They just don't get the money. Look at California. They have the highest tax rates in the world. They're one of the states slowing in growth dramatically. The revenues aren't coming in, and the provision of public services is one of the worst in the country.
And you can save them. Your new book title, Eureka,
Sure.
How to Fix California.
Yes, I can.
But the way to fix it is to leave it?
Well, if they won't fix it, I've got to leave it. I was on Governor Schwarzenegger's Council of Economic Advisors, and when he turned to the dark side, we tried 4 propositions that were really pretty good. And we lost. The California Teachers Association beat us. I mean, beat us to a pulp. But then he switched and he became part of the problem, and I just said, I'm out of here. And in 2006, I moved to Tennessee purely and simply because of taxes and state economic policies. It's just, and look what's happened since then. I mean, if you don't believe that it was a good forecast, not that I make many good ones, John, but that one was good.
And states like Tennessee that don't have a state income tax grow more than other states.
Oh, yeah, we have more revenues, too. I mean, we have much less unemployment.
And all these states that have no state income tax, I'll run through the list: Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Texas, Washington, Wyoming, Tennessee, New Hampshire. They are all prospering, growing better than the tax states?
Well, not all of them are growing better. I mean, there are other policies that also matter. I mean, for example, 2 of those states that you mentioned do have an unearned income tax rate. 3 of those states, I believe, are not right-to-work states. So there are other factors that make a difference. But yes, they're doing very well.
And the high-tax states, California, New York, Illinois, on the road to Greece.
Yes, they really are. I think that would be insulting to Greece.
All right, let's talk tax rates. Golfer
Sure.
Phil Mickelson, who made $60 million last year, took a lot of grief when he said, my tax rate's 62, 63%. I got to make some decisions about what I'm going to do.
I don't know why he took grief for that. I mean, it's a very true statement.
Because people say, sure, you'll save $8 million, but you got millions. You're greedy. How much you want?
Well, you can give it to people you choose to give it to, but to give it to these people in Sacramento is a travesty. That's like feeding rats in your basement. You just shouldn't be doing that, John. You don't want these creatures to breed and multiply. They are the problem. It's like giving money to tobacco companies to sell more cigarettes. It's just terrible.
Some other celebrities were more open about maybe moving to another state because of taxes. Tiger Woods moved from California to Florida.
I moved out of here, back in, what, 96, for that reason.
Here in California, I just want to say, liberals, you could actually lose me. It's outrageous what we're paying.
That's Bill Maher, who generally loves big government. So you'd think it would start to sink in when even those people say that.
Yeah, I know Bill Maher fairly. I've been on his show a number of times, and I sent him a copy of my book as well and said, join me, Bill. We'd love to have you in Tennessee.
Will Smith says he supports higher taxes, but when he was being interviewed in France and learned about their proposed 75% tax rate, his reaction was telling.
Vous avez eu à payer d'impôts, vous, au-delà de 1 million d'euros? Pas 30%. 75%.
Not 30. 75.
75. Ah ouais.
Wow, yeah, that's different.
Bon, là, c'est vrai que c'est pas pareil quand même.
Yeah, 75.
75%.
Well, you know, God bless America.
All right, we can laugh about the hypocrisy of celebrities, but let's just go back to the basic question of fairness.
Yes.
Shared sacrifices, they say. Warren Buffett and Obama this week on his budget, he's saying if you're making more than $1 million, you got to pay at least 30% in taxes, the Buffett rule. It seems reasonable that those of us with more should pay more.
Well, we should pay more. I mean, if you make 10 times as much as I do, John, I think it's perfectly right that you would pay 10 times as much in taxes as I do. I mean, that to me seems perfectly obviously fair. But when you look at Warren Buffett, what really is unfair is he paid about 0.06% of his income in taxes. That's not fair. And that doesn't even include his not paying capital gains because he owns Berkshire Hathaway and his company buys and sells the stocks. He doesn't do it personally. And he's also got an insurance company who, as we all know, has huge tax advantages. I mean, Warren Buffett is the master. He's the king of tax circumvention. And to have him tell other people to pay more in taxes is truly obnoxious and hypocritical.
But because he pays so little, it seems reasonable that he should say, change these rules, make me pay more.
Yes, he should. But he didn't. I watched every time he talked about it, and he never once suggested taxing unrealized capital gains. He never once suggested limiting the amount of deductions on gifts to your family's 501c3s. He never once mentioned any of that stuff. I mean, for obvious reasons, that's what would have gotten him. It is hypocritical. And, you know, it's like Howard Metzenbaum of Ohio, who was the father of the estate tax, the death tax. 6 months before he died, he moved to Florida so he wouldn't have to pay the Ohio estate tax. John Kerry in Massachusetts, buying his yacht and harboring it in Rhode Island. I mean, on and on it goes. Their behavior is not bad, John. It's their words, it's their policies, it's their recommendations and influence on others that's so hypocritical and disgusting. That's like feeding rats in your basement. You just shouldn't be doing that.